game. Sounds easy, right? After a couple of minutes, I found Dirtmouth, a nice quiet town in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. After speaking to the only resident there, Elderthorn, I jumped down into a well and onto the first main location of the game, the Forgotten Crossroads. During my exploration, I found this giant 6-foot enemy killed him and saved this little fella. This is a grudge, and I've got some trophy to walk away for saving more guys. I also found this guy named Porter who sells me maps at the end there, and he's actually the killer. Because without him, I wouldn't know where the hell I was going, and I'll also get a trophy for collecting all of his maps down the line. I then stumbled across the first boss of my playthrough, which is the Gruzmother. This is a very easy enemy. She really only has one move, which is repeatedly slamming into the walls of the arena to try and kill me. I don't know where she got this strategy from. Like, she's got to have late stage CPU for doing this. You can't do this all the time. Like, clearly it doesn't pay off either, because, well, I killed her, like, really easily. And her children, too. I almost forgot about that. Yep, everything burns. I also found my first fast travel location, indicated by the giant bug with the saddle. He's really cool, and he's my friend. I will also get another trophy later on for getting all the fast travels. I then found the next boss, which is the False Knight. The armor he wears was once inhabited by a great warrior, but was overtaken by a stupid maggot. Now he's in my red, so he has to die. And he's definitely the most tougher than the Gruzmother. Bro had me on the ropes a couple of times. He's fat as all that, so sometimes it's hard to avoid him, and the fat positioning was so much armor. After hitting him, eventually gets stung revealing his filthy maggot face.
Oh, they can drop transient curses?
Sometimes his my 600 score kicking ass would break the arena and fall down a giant hole. And this is where the fight basically ends, because when I fall down, he's just thrown into a stagger, and I can just defeating the False Knight gets me my first trophy, and also, I still haven't died yet. Clap for me, acknowledge me, the greatest of all time. I also unlocked a new ability which lets me shoot a projectile at their soul. It's made of soul. It's also traveled to a secret little room by taking my first charm of the game, which gives me a trophy. Think of charms like beams and fire into the soul games, all being on the trophy. This one particularly to get more soul and 2 times hitting, and it's very helpful because the more soul I have, the more opportunity to have to use my spells or heal. I'm usually going to use it to heal because, well, I get hit a lot during this game. I then moved on to the next area, which is Green Path, and this area is very beautiful. One of my favorites in the game, no doubt. The most notable thing in this area, though, is that it is home to the CEO of Silksong herself, Corner. This is the toughest challenge I've faced so far. Learning is much faster than the other 2 bosses I've faced, and I was having trouble dodging around for it. I even died for the first time, unfortunately, during this fight, and I was very sad about this. I was on the roll. No, don't call me stupid. I thought I could beat the whole game without dying. Eventually, though, after dying a couple more times to her, I began to understand her attacks better. My problem was that I was jumping way too much and she was catching me with aerial attacks, so I tried to stay low, got a really good run, and defeated her in the first try. I got a trophy for beating her, and I also unlocked the dash, so now I can move around and dodge enemy attacks much faster.
I understand how to get through here now. Let's go. Ow.
One of the best bosses in the entire game. They have a very telegraphed moveset, but it's still pretty challenging, and it's really tough. Especially once you get to the second phase, and 2 of them start attacking at the same time.
What's the point? Cursed by Ring. That's a new ring I've never seen before.
I was surprised I got this early in the game, but I guess they're really on top of the
New fucking way. Good lord, there's so many of them, dude.
One of my least favorite enemies in the entire game. Then I found a monument dedicated to the 3 people I have to kill, and they're called Dreamers. And their whole purpose is that they're just eternally sleeping. And while they're sleeping, they're actually stealing away the entrance to an ancient temple that I have to enter, because spoiler alert, kind of dogs in there. The only way to get in is to kill all of them. And I also unlock a new ability, I then get teleported back to the real world and meet a new NPC, and she basically fills me in on how to use the Dream Man. Basically, when I hit her,
Stop. Good lord, bro.
So give me some rewards. And once I collect 2,400 essence and go back to her, I'll get a trophy. But that happens much later down the line. I then went back to Crystal Keep and fought the Crystal Guardian. This boss is very simple. Just avoid the laser beam. There's really not much to it. I then went back to Green Path and fought No Eyes. And this boss just sucks ass. one of my least favorites in the entire game. He just randomly teleports around and these spirits float in the air and hit you. It's a challenging boss. I don't know why they put it in the game. That's weird. But I fought an actually good boss named Ford. This is the greatest fight in gaming history. Those who reject Ford reject Ascension and will never amount to anything in life. Praise Ford. Then I went back to Third Mount to find some new NPCs, and it looks like a circus even town, or maybe a troop of some sort. The leader of the troop is my favorite boss in the game, Griff, except I don't fight him until way later. For now, he's just a pretty chill guy. Then I made my way into the city of Tears, which is the capital of Hollowness, and inside is the Soul Sanctum, which has the next boss. This guy's the Soul Master, and he's the toughest opponent I've fought so far. He's very fast, constantly teleports all over the place, but unlike no one, this guy is actually very interesting. You can still actually mix the fight up a decent amount by shooting homing orbs, slamming into the ground, and sometimes if you dodge a slam too early, he'll fake it out and do it the later, which is really tough for me to avoid, especially since I still don't have any movement abilities yet. Once he gets down on health, he'll enter his second phase where he breaks the arena floor and then goes absolutely.
I don't know where I'm going.
He does the slam attack very quickly, so you just gotta keep moving the whole time, and eventually he'll start spamming projectiles, and this is where you're supposed to punish him. He stands completely still and he's wide open. Once I figure this out, I quickly killed him and got a boost level boost. This is a down boost dive that smash through areas that I previously couldn't access. I could also use this during boss fights, but it's really not that useful. Not yet, anyway. Then I went underneath the city of Tears into the royal waterways, which is city sewage system. And somehow this ended up being one of my favorite areas of the game. I don't know how. I even the sky sewer area. Go to my Elden Ring video. But I tend to like the combat aspects of this game more than the platforming ones. Well, this area is pretty much completely combat focused, so there's not much platforming at all. While going through here, I found a health upgrade and got a trophy for it. To get this upgrade, I had to go up the mountain top 40. For every 4 I find, I get a permanent health upgrade. So that's pretty clutch. The main boss of the Royal Waterways is the Dung Defender, and his signature attack is throwing balls of shit. I don't really know what else I expected from a giant dung beetle. The Desolate Dive also completely covers this guy. You can use it when he goes underground and there's a stump. It looks like you're supposed to fight this guy after you get the ability. That's crazy. But by using this, like being pretty easy, he just gets absolutely lost in these giant beetles. I then went back to the City of Tears, and this time I got an upgrade to my soul capacity. It's the same concept as the health upgrade, except when it comes to soul, I only need to find 3 pieces to get the upgrade. So thank you, Hollowness, for making my life easier. Don't worry, I'll likely be a winning hell later in this video, but for now I'll take a short-term relief. The next area I explored is the Ancient Basin, and this is another one of my favorite areas in the game, simply for the atmosphere. It's so empty and unsettling, but at the same time, everything looks really cool, and the boss in the area is the Broken Vessel. And I think this is a good place to start dropping some lore. The MC of this game, the Knight, is a child of the King of Polynos. The king had like literally thousands of children. Some of them were doing like this man and really shit. But later on in the game, we're gonna find out why he had these children. Because there is a reason. And this little guy is one of my siblings. But unfortunately, he's been overtaken by the infection. Will he see infection? I don't know. We'll find out later. I really like this fight, though. It's one of my favorites so far. It's really satisfying once you get a flow going. He does a lot of dash attacks, and for some reason, this guy's a fucking jumping beat. He always manages to land right on it. I don't know how he does it. Another thing with this fight is when he gets low enough, some orange balloon-looking things, I don't know what these are, will start spawning in, and they make the fight a little more annoying, but it's still not that bad. So I don't know. He will be missed. The next area is my favorite in the game, atmosphere-wise. Not one of my favorites. It is my absolute favorite. It looks like it's snowing, but the snow is actually really bucket falling from the clouds. And at some points, there's even entire corpses falling from the sky. And the reason for this is that there's a giant Colosseum at the top of the area. And this Colosseum is tied to 3 trophies, so it's pretty damn important. There's 3 trials, and each of them harder than the last, and there's a trophy for beating each one of them. Now, 2 of them are way too difficult for me to even attempt right now, so I just went through the first one. It's just a bunch of waves with different combinations of enemies, and I really enjoyed the Colosseum because it's just endless combat and bloodshed, and that's my favorite part of the game. Feed me good gameplay and I will eat that shit right up. The final test in the first trial is 2 Gruzmothers. It's the same exact thing as before, but now there's double the brain plasma, and it still doesn't work. Why do they keep trying a stupid strategy? I guess the CTV brain rot already got to them. Of course, I killed them, no problem, and got we'll be back at the Coliseum later, though. Also in Kingdom's Edge is a rematch with Dr. Silksong herself, Corbin. Of course, this time it's much harder. She attacks way faster, and also she does a new attack where she puts...
What item do I need in order to...
where you kind of use spells for
Yeah, I think there's help.
pretty manageable. I was on this fight for a solid 30 minutes. I don't know why it was so garbage at Hornet. It's really not like that bad of a boss fight, but holy shit, rewatching this gameplay is genuinely annoying me. I do really like this boss fight. I just wish my gameplay of it was a little better than what it ended up being. Even the one that I actually beat her on was not clean whatsoever, but I guess that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Upon defeating Hornet for the second time, I get another trophy, so my efforts did not go unnoticed. After Hornet, I find the King's Brand item, which means I'm now the new King of Hollowness. I didn't know it was that easy. I then went to the Blue Lake, and there's really not anything here. I just wanted to briefly mention it because I think it's really pretty. And also, fun fact, the City of Tears is constantly raining, and the reason for that is because it is located right under the Blue Lake. So that's a neat detail. I like that. Good shit, Hollow Knight. Next, I got a trophy for unlocking half of the charms in the game, and now it's finally time to go kill the first Dreamer. Yeah, remember that all the way from the beginning? Right now.
Okay, I gotta go kill Sif now. Guess what? I forgot where Sif is.
Progress through the game. After defeating Zeno, I find this I believe this one is Mama Teacher. I could be wrong about that. And all I gotta do is dream nail her and then kill her in the dream world. That was easy. I honestly expected it to be another boss fight at first, but
I've fought in Sif before, so why don't I have the damn...
Next, I entered the Queen's Garden, and this is basically just Green Path Part 2. This area is so beautiful. Look at the shadows. Oh my goodness. Simply incredible visuals. I collected the last Ragnarok to get the trophy, and I also freed half the Bloodlord. I then fought Morgan. And this fight is just fun. I have no other words to describe this. It's just done. This blue ball just rolls into you repeatedly, and that's literally it. There's nothing else. Killing this boss got me over 600 essence, though, which got me a trophy. Next, I have to be one of the most tedious trophies in the entire game, and it requires me to bring a flower from here to here without that. Yeah, that sounds pretty dumb. But whatever, it should have been taken. So you also have to do what I'm hitting. So the strat that I use is to increase air and then once I got the flower, I went back the same way, and most of the enemies don't respawn. And on my very first try,
Where's a good spot to do this? Actually, if I only try and still the perfect spot to do this at.
on my first try, I actually made it to the end. And once I delivered the flower, I got it. That was incredibly frustrating. But now, we're going to keep it going. I've been going to fight the Soul Pirate, and he's just the Soul Master for earlier, but much faster. It's a great fight, and it takes me too long to keep because I was much more prepared for it than I was for any fight for it. And next, I went into one of the most annoying areas of the game. This is Deep Nest. It's dark as hell. Yeah, something was frustrating enemies to do, and I just did not enjoy my time down through it. But it also has the second group that I have to go through the temple, so this area is ridiculous. In Deep Nest, I found this guy named Bailey. The name is named Bailey. This one, he's not a very hard boss. Just dodging, spinning, scythe, and the other stuff in small too. If you can balance out dodging and attacking, you're just not going to be an issue at all. He's pretty fun though. I like him. The only way I found myself, what is this? Where's he going? I'm going to follow him. Oh, this was a trap. Okay. Yeah, it's a big giant bamboo, a big buffoonery, if you will. Because this piece of shit Knox literally puppeteered one of my brother's corpses to learn me into his dungeon. The fight itself isn't that hard. This guy's just a major asshole. He's a creepy giant spider. He's decently fast and unpredictable, but I found that if you stand in this one spot, pretty much can't get to it. It's an okay fight. But the thing that the fake out is really cool. So we're broken that shit. I then killed a Dreamer, we got a Jordan, and then Mordecai. There's one more Dreamer, I'm not sure if there's still a lot more trophies. Also in Deep Nest, I found the last Stag station to get me the trophy, and I also found the Lucky there. Then I went back to the Forgotten Crossroads, and oh hey, look, all the trophies I saved. I used this money to max out my store capacity. I then entered a really creepy sex gun game called the Tower of Blood. And inside is this guy. He's the one who kidnapped all the girls on the map and I've been saving for them. He probably didn't think of how it was. So this fight is actually really cool. He summoned a bunch of enemies that he also captured, and the dynamic of this fight is very fun. Basically, it boils down to you spawning into the summon enemies and getting rid of them before the collector comes back down. Then you can just punish the hell out of him because he really doesn't do that much on his own because he's a bitch. And once he gets staggered, it's over. And if you weren't already convinced that this guy's an absolute fool, when I finally kill him, he makes this noise. Yeah, somebody needs to get in contact with the authorities, or maybe Chris Hansen. After I viewed, I found a collector's map which reveals where the rest of the captured grubs are, so my cleanup is going to be significantly easier. I then set out to unlock all the upgrades for my skulls because they are truly ridiculous and will help a lot. The first is called Descending Dark, which makes Desolate Dive do more damage, and most importantly, it gives me invincibility during the animation. Which for a while, I didn't understand how broken it was, but I will use the hell out of it later. I then went into the Abyss, the lowest point of the map, and this is actually a very important location lore-wise, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because that's not what we're here for. I got an upgrade from my dash, which gives me iframes during it, which is actually crazy. Now I can just literally dodge straight through a lot of boss attacks, but only sometimes because the iframe dash goes on a short cooldown.
Go kill. Oh no, I need to kill Seth. I can't get sidetracked.
But this is the Abyss Tree, and it is one of the most cracked weapons in my arsenal. This thing has the potential to trivialize bosses all by itself. I love this guy. It's very fun. I then entered the Beehive location, and this is fucking horrifying. Look at these giant bastards. They're awful. Kill them with fire. At the end of the Beehive is the Hive Land, who is somehow less scary than the normal enemies in this area. Also, this thing is in the background just staring. I think it's dead. I beat the Hive Knight on my second try. Nothing too special about this guy. And then I fought the failed champion. And this is a souped-up version of False Knight. He's faster, and all of his attacks do double damage. You can change this fight, though, really easily with this track. Once he's staggered, you can zoom down him and get sword, and toggle around to reset the stagger cycle. So they just sit there.
What? I dodged. I swear to God, I dodged.
It's kind of hard to die if you do this. It's supposed to be fun. Moving on. I then went to beat the second Coliseum for another trophy. I was more than prepared for it at this point. And then I went to fight the coolest boss in the game, my boy Grim. This is one of the best designed bosses in the entire game. You actually have to react to exactly what he's doing, or else you're getting severely punished. You can't just like jump around aimlessly like I did with some other bosses. It's really like a Dark Souls boss in that sense. There's pretty much no RNG in this fight. It's all skill. His attacks include shooting back at you. This is the best opportunity to punish him and land big damage. A literal drop kick, a punch to the face, followed by an uppercut that then explodes into a bunch of projectiles. Spikes that come out of the ground. And his signature attack that the community has collectively dubbed the pufferfish. Or what the fuck else are you supposed to call this? He literally turns into a pufferfish. Why is he able to do this? It's so goofy. But nonetheless, I beat him and got him. Now this fight took me about 20 minutes to beat.
Turns out.
This bastard is so difficult, but he became my favorite boss in the entire game. I have one glaring complaint. To enter this fight, you need to include a specific charm that does literally nothing in the fight. Normally it spawns in this little grid child that you shoot the enemies, but it's not right for me to turn fight. So you're telling me if you give this man super speed, you give this man double damage, and spike attack is no longer telegraphed, so you gotta react to that shit immediately, or else you're taking double damage. You give him a fucking fire trail for the drop kick that also does double damage if you walk into it. If you give this man the best music in the entire game, you give him a fucking title card before the boss fight, and I still have to intentionally hurt myself just to fight him? I'm sorry, that's fucking stupid. I said it. Just let me fight him at full power. Why the fuck you gotta hurt me? I could have been using other way better cards for this stupid shit. But with all that out of the way, the fight itself is definitely the best in the game. As for new stuff, you have to some patent that shoot fire pillars out of the ground, but this actually makes the fight way easier because you can just land them free of this shoot, and I think a shit ton of damage. But in my 3.5 hours of suffering and agony, I really love this fight. Being able to feel myself inching closer and closer to victory is why I love more bosses like this. Nightmare King Ring is one of the best bosses I've ever fought in a video game period. He's up there for sure. But after going that hell of path, I finally beat him to my immense satisfaction, and I was paid with a broken trophy. That is a beautiful sight to see beautiful trophies. Then up to the ball of directly on the path for another trophy, then set up for the Timber, waiting for the Watcher, and joining in is the Watcher Knights. Now, this is the closest we got to a gang fight Hollow Knight. I think this fight is trash. I think he's like Sonic the Hedgehog motherfuckers. Get them the hell out of here. It's garbage. I then found the treatment. Look at those speaking so soundly. He doesn't know he's about to get executed. And now I can keep the game, except not yet. There's still a lot more to do. I feel like a giant slug. That's pretty cool. Back at the police guard, I go to the new section that has the traitor there across. And one of the men is still the wet road in favor of his new god. Do we meet said god? I don't know, maybe. That's probably not too important though, surely. He does double damage, but it's ultimately a very predictable fight, only having a solid 3 moves in his arsenal. And I took it down with my friend here without much discipline. Oh my god, son of a bitch, what have you done? Alright, the right lady, who's actually my character's mother, and she gives me an object called the White Dragon. Here, and with my 1,800 essence, I upgraded my team now, and I got a trophy. I then fought the White Defender. This is the dumb leader, but he was strong. And the fight is much harder. As per usual, he is much faster and gets a myriad of new attacks, including wood and more food. Still not having been in the fight, though, I take it down in that second round. Very big boss down. But once I beat it, there's a vision of the White Defender's points. We all went missing or died. I then fought the Nazi with vessel, but Saber is much faster, more difficult. The stupid balloon things now spawn from the get-go, and also they spawn much faster, but overall...
Good lord. My bad. I don't even know what this is. Eastern legging, or Eastern armor. There's the Hydra.
I love this fight, but it's not really reason to make it. The fight gameplay-wise is not very good. It's insanely unpredictable, erratic, and hard to read. It just does random bullshit and hopes that it works. He always keeps guessing because not even he knows that clue. And that's why I love this fight. It shows you the recurring NPC throughout the game, and he always presents himself like he's the greatest warrior known to mankind, and that leaves him insignificant little camp. He actually is a major fraud, and he fucking sucks at his job. For evidence, I provide this footage. But now, Gap couldn't wait to get into dreams to fall in love with him. And when you scream down a little while she's sleeping to enter her dreams, this is what he looks like. Because she perceives him like literally Superman, essentially. Except somehow, even in her dreams, he still sucks at his job. He constantly trips over himself while trying to attack her. He falls on his ass. And he just looks like a complete idiot. And this fight is just comedy gold. Like, I love to hate it. It's ironically good. You don't even have to fight this guy at all. I just think because I thought it would be funny. After that little side...
Wait a second.
The White Tower. Top secret area. Cannot normally access. This is where my father, the king, is from. And I have to go through a bunch of super evil and hardcore death traps to even get there. Seriously, why does he just have these buzzsaws flying around? That's definitely a massive health violation. I gotta shoot a buzzsaw after I complete this section. It's messed up. Yeah, fucking elite. You know, I'm not very good at platform. It took me about 45 minutes to get through. And it's not even that long of a section. It's just very long and quickly. And even better is, you know, half a game. And it's pretty much this, but dialed up to 11. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I didn't even bother going through that. You don't need it for a platinum, and I just couldn't be asked at this point. So I'm sorry about that. Once I got through the death traps, I found the king dead in his throne. Or should I say my throne? Yeah, get out of here, you old geriatric. I also get the other fragment to create the kitty sword, and this leads directly to the next part, which is back to the abyss. Yeah, I entered this in the midway from the past, and I'm going to come from the very bottom of the abyss, and I'm surrounded by all of my dead cigarettes. There's even more in And it was the third year that the Pale King had thousands of children just to throw them into the abyss and basically carry out Suzani as a killer. He needs the best possible vessel to carry out his plan. What was his plan? Well, I'll tell you, there's a god known for Radiance. He's an asshole, and he's been forgotten by the land of Hylus. But if he remembered, he started to infect people's minds and corrupting them to force them into worship and obedience. Yeah, this is who they're dealing with. He's a fucking kid. That's the reason why the Traitor Lord left the Mantis Swords. The infection has got orange heat that's just been all over the game. It's been present with the Broken Vessel and a bunch of other boss fights. So the Pale King had this idea to create a being so strong and so pure that they could steal away the radiance forever inside of their mind. So he got his pure vessel, which isn't me, it's this guy who he walked away with. He took that guy and threw him into the White Palace and presumably the Path of Pain, make him even stronger than he already is. Let me get this straight. This poor child had to climb out of a literal abyss and then do super decoy parkour until he was strong enough to steal away a god? Okay, that sounds pretty messed up. But, to his credit, the plan actually worked. Until now, because clearly the infection was all over the place again, so even the strongest vessel wasn't even good enough. And now I'm here...
That's Sips Arena, isn't it? Yeah. How about I go find a bonfire nearby first, and then I'll think about that.
This is what is left of the pure vessel. He's been completely taken over by the Radiants, and now I, his little brother, have to put him down. By the way, this is the guy from the beginning cutscene if you didn't already notice, so that's pretty cool. If you watched my Dust Souls videos, this guy is a lot like Wizard from Dark Souls 1 in the sense that it's not difficult at all to beat him, but it is very sad. This once mighty, unbeatable figure has been reduced to this. He even has moments where he slips through and tries stabbing himself as a last-ditch effort to kill the Radiance, which unfortunately doesn't work. This also reminds me of the Abyss Watchers in Dark Souls 3, because they too were corrupted.
Nope.
Okay, good. To stop the spread of the Abyss. It's very similar to that. After duking it out in a very cool battle, in comes Hornet, and she gives me some advice. Dark Souls player she is. And while she holds him down, I dream nail the Hollow Knight so I can enter his mind and kill a god. Wow, this is actually a really peaceful area. What am I gonna have to do? Kill a sun or something? Oh god. Let me introduce you to the bane of my existence. The game tries to play it off like this thing his name is the Radiance. I personally will only refer to him as the stupid fucking moth. Because this stupid fucking moth is the most infuriatingly annoying and unfun boss in the entire game. Remember how I said that I really like Nightmare King Grim because his attacks are very difficult but ultimately predictable what can get good? Well, this guy just throws that all down the damn fairway. For the entire fight, he just throws random bullshit at you. It's all just random projectile, but there's no rhyme or reason. By the way, this is the easy version of the fight. I have to fight an exponentially harder version of him later. And that's where most of my hatred for this boss comes from. This version isn't really that bad. It took me about 25 to 30 minutes to beat.
No.
Random bullshit on a platform. Random bullshit on a platform that
Basically.
has spikes blocking off half the platform. Random bullshit while having a half approved platform.
Yusuf.
Yeah, this guy's so fucking scared that he ran all the way up to heaven to try to avoid me. This guy is not real. And then once you get to the top, you hit him once, he's dead. I turn into the void monster and murder him with blood. The Radiance is dead, and Hornet wakes up to see my shattered mask lying on the ground. And that's the end of the game. I get trophy, and here are my stats. It took me 32 hours to 100% the game. Now you may ask, but you don't have the platinum yet. How do you have 100%? First I will respond, you stupid fucking moron. How did you not know that you were supposed to get 112% to actually platinum the game? You didn't think that far now, did you, you damn idiot? So now it's time for cleanup. I completed Coliseum 3. At the end of it, there's a new boss called the God Tamer, and this dude is annoying as fuck.
Sif, don't make this hard for the both of us. Just give me the Crest of Artorias.
Just stand there and be a bitch. Hell no, this fight sucks. I got a trophy for completing the Coliseum. I got another trophy for collecting all the charms and receiving Salubra's blessing. I got all the killing points for another trophy, and then I went to get a secret item. This involves going around the map and finding a hidden mushroom NPC who is conveniently named Mr. Mushroom, and possibly forget
Alright. I'm gonna be popping a lot of humanities just so I'm able to live. Shit, dude. Sif is like an Elden Ring boss. He's actually fast.
I'm not going to go too deep into this because, to be honest, I got the trophy after a little bit of it. And then I got another trophy for beating the hunter himself on the hunter's part. Then after that, I was going to have to fight this guy for a second. And now it's time for probably the moment you've all been waiting. After that, I'm talking about the motherfucking champion. So remember the beginning of the video when I said this game is a 9 out of 10 difficulty? Well, this is the reason why. Because these champions are truly utterly different. Not only champions. They're actually very cool. The champions are 5 different boss fights, with each one having a boss that is different that is exclusive to the champion. So I haven't seen it yet. So let's break down each champion. The first one is Clear Fantasy, featuring 9 fights of early game bosses, which at this point are absolute great. But the last fight is decently difficult. This fight is with Aura, an Animaster, and I completely destroyed it. In order to make this fight much harder, I think 2 of them or something. I really love this fight. It's how it's really quite shifted. One of them goes aggro while the other plays a more passive role. And they switch you back to the each time.
I'm sorry, Sif.
You have to dodge a bunch of different variants to attack with each other. It's a great fight.
I had to. I'm so sorry, Sif. Please forgive me.
It contains 9 fights of early to mid-game bosses featuring some of the better fights in the game, like the Mantis Lord, the Soul Man.
120,000 souls. You get that much from Sif? Goddamn.
And I don't know what it is with this fight, but I never really got that hang of it. I always get hit from
Homeward Bone.
consistently killed me at it, thing, but still, I wish I was better at it. He basically just yeets different colors of paint at you, each color signifying a different attack. It's also a pretty fun fight. The Pantheon exclusive fights don't really use. I dodged this Pantheon or so, but again, fairly simple.
Undead Parry and no.
Late game bosses, depending on what she chose to fight them, like it has Grimmins, though.
In Orlando.
But for me, they were late. Also, has some of the worst bosses in the entire game, like God Tamer. I don't know if this fight is actually considered bad. I just personally really dislike it. I think it's very boring. And also, the new and improved Umu. Coil ain't here this time to help me fight this dude. No. Instead, I have to sit here on my hands and knees waiting for this fat
Where's it gonna go again?
And then once the jellyfish get near
Firelink.
hit them into him, which then opens him up for attacks. This fight is just so fucking boring and bad with design. You can either beat him in under 20 seconds if he decides to instantly summon the jellyfish, or it may take an entire 2 minutes of just waiting around for a good opportunity to hit him with the fucking jellyfish. Garbage fight, I despise Ruby. It's so bad. The final fight for this Pantheon is Nail Sage Salah. He's a tiny fly who can somehow wield the damn Buster Sword. How did he get his hands on that thing? What the heck? This actually ended up being one of my favorite fights. You have to be very patient with him. He does some devastating combos, so you have to know the exact timing of when to dodge in and out for a counterattack. It's a very tricky boss for sure, but once you learn the fight, it's extremely fun. When you get him to around 10% health, he goes to maximum overdrive and just sits around the map spamming his one spinning attack. And you just have to bob and weave him before landing a well placed shot. Repeat this around 10 times or so, and you've beaten Sly and Pantheon 3 as a whole. This Pantheon definitely took me a couple of hours to beat, so it's a decent rise in difficulty compared to the other two. But now, this is where shit gets weird. And you can tell because the next two Pantheons give you a trophy for each of them. Pantheon 4 is no joke. It features 9 endgame bosses, followed by a ridiculously challenging Pantheon exclusive fight. Let's briefly go through each fight of the Pantheon. Enraged Starter, fairly self-explanatory, with Dewberry that the razors do double damage, so don't get hit by them. Lost Kin, broken vessel on steroids. Very fun but potentially dangerous fight, as he will jump in very unpredictable ways sometimes. No Eye, this fight is garbage. I said it before and I'll say it again. One of the worst in the game. Trader Lure, fairly simple fight, but again, double damage. White Defender, failed champion, Jobber, Barkov, one of the worst fights in the game, especially in Pantheon 5. You just have to be patient with this guy's shield, really annoying to do. He has a shield that orbits around him, and when you get into second stage, he gets another one. He's just really hard to hit, and the strat is to kind of just spam spells once he gets the second shield. It's not a well-designed fight at all, and it's really boring. No one enjoys this fight. Watcher Knights. Alright, I kind of don't hate the Watcher Knights anymore because they're next to Markov. They look like the greatest fight of all time Master compared to him. Soul Tower, harder version of the Soul Master, but still very easy once you have all the upgrades. And finally, the Pure Vessel. Yep, you heard that correctly. This is the Hollow Knight himself in his prime. No corruption to weigh him down. And this is an Avengers level threat, my friends. On the same level as Nightmare King Grim. Multiple hours of learning this fight are required to contribute.
Okay, so I do no damage, and I'm just gonna run the fuck away.
To the Pantheon and then boost to the boss, you gotta restart from the beginning, and nobody wants to waste time like that. The Demon's not a favor, they can practice fight this guy for hours so you don't mess him up in the hands of Pantheon. Pure Vessel is one of the best fights in the entire game. It's very fun once you get to learn this.
Oh, fuck!
The game's gonna be this triple slash combo because it doesn't set up the torture react, and also again, all attacks do double damage. He also does a bunch of other attacks like a dash, a spike attack, and projectile shooting. Once you get to about half-time, you're still doing this one, which just creates a bunch of giant explosions around the arena. I spent time during this because there isn't really much else you can do. And once he gets really low, he does this Void Tender move, which is a full screen sweeping attack that is very hard for him to dodge. But once I built up the muscle memory for it, I found that this attack is one of the better ways to get reliable damage on a opponent. And a little bit after that, he's defeated. Amazing fight, Pantheon 4 down, still feeling lost. This took me a couple of days on the block to do, but it was nothing. And I mean nothing compared to Pantheon 5. Up to this point, every Pantheon has had about 10 bosses. Pantheon 5 has 42. Yeah, it's pretty much every boss in the entire game. You have to kill 42 bosses without dying. Each run takes anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, so prepare to have your time wasted. Let's go through the highlights of this Pantheon. I will start by highlighting what I believe is the absolute worst boss of the game, Moblin. All these guys do is rapidly shoot projectiles, and once you kill one of them, the second one regenerates all the way back to full HP and gets twice as fast. It's complete RNG big slop nonsense. I have no clue why it's in the game. Right after that is the Mantis Sword. Or should I say the Sisters of Valor. This is the Mantis Sword, except instead of the fight turning into a 2v1, it turns into a 3v1, which makes the fight much faster and more unpredictable. To beat this fight, you better hope your go-to revolver can stick, because you're gonna need it. But this fight is so goddamn fun. It's one of the best in the game for sure.
Okay, so fuck me, apparently.
He now flies and is actually much easier. Thank you, Pantheon 5. Also, Bullet is just fucking dead in this fight. So throwing his cancel, boys. I'm sorry. No Eyes now gets spikes all over the mouth. Wait, what? Yeah, the spikes everywhere. Who thought this was a good idea? This has to be rage bait. Absolutely atrocious boss fight. And then eventually it's time for the Gauntlet. This is pretty much just all the hardest bosses in the game back to back. It starts with the Soul Pirate. Very easy at this point again because I have all the upgrades. And he's immediately followed by Malphite, whose arena now has no floor. You're forced to sit on these platforms and wait for him to maybe get close to you, but he might just do his own thing. I can't even be bothered to explain how trash and boring this fight is. This is one I had to practice because I had to beat him without getting hit very much, because right after him is motherfucking Zoe, and this guy's whole MO is random bullshit. So if I enter the fight at anything lower than like 5 HP, I'm automatically assuming that the run is finished. And then after Zoe is the failed champion. Thank God, this is just root so friendly. And that's greatly needed because the next fight is Lightning King Grim, who is followed by the Pure Vessel, who is followed by this stupid fucking insect. But this time, everything is twice as fast. Fuck this bullshit boss. I never want to fight him again in my entire life. I genuinely do.
Do I not go here? It looks like I do.
Just rolling the boss on repeat until I can at least beat him most of the time. I cannot describe.
Please tell me I can first try the
platforming segment,
whatever it's called.
Disgusting. It's the hardest
Forking.
fight by far. The climb to the top is also much harder because the laser beam is twice as fast and it's more accurate. And the cherry on top is that the fight isn't over when you get to the top. No. There's another phase to this motherfucker.
Where am I supposed to fucking go?
You have to hit him about 10 times for him to finally die.
Oh, right here.
To be honest, the strat here is to program him repeatedly and try to remain off screen for as long as possible to get the third scan before they reach you. And then the fight is finally over. And at this point, this guy's it's over. I got a trophy for beating the Pantheon. I got another trophy for getting the 112%. And I'm ladies and gentlemen, I got it. That is Hollow Knight
You can get Titanite slabs from these guys?
Still though, I highly recommend this game, especially if you just heard Silksong or want to hop on the bandwagon. You should definitely play Hollow Knight first. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. Yes, at long your boy has one. I wanted to take my time with this game because it is so damn deep and I have a good stuff. I mean, this is the most anticipated game of the year, besides GTA 6. That shit's never coming out. Yeah. The internet was on the verge of collapse waiting for Silksong to drop. I watched the Game Awards just hoping that somehow Silksong would clutch up, and while it obviously did for Game of the Year because nothing competing Expedition 33, it still did in my heart. I also haven't even played Expedition 33 yet. That's going to be next. So Silksong is kind of my Game of the Year by default. This game is still relatively new, and there's no guide for it, so I will rate its difficulty myself. I give Hollow Knight Silksong a solid 7 out of 10 difficulty, and it took me around 70 hours to platinum, so it's not nearly as bad as Hollow Knight simply because there is no Pantheon in this game. So you should be smooth sailing to this platinum. But there are 2 trophies in particular that are pretty difficult. I have to speedrun the game in under 5 hours, and then speedrun 100% in under 30 hours. Also, one more thing. Keep in mind that I'm on PS5, and there aren't nearly as many trophies as there are on PC or Xbox. So I'm not doing shit like Steam Soul Mode or any of that other stuff. It's simply not required. I don't make the rules, I'm just a messenger. Also, holy shit, guys, thank you for all your support on these videos. I appreciate it.
Oh, and Titanite chunks too.
Let's keep it going. Let's get into Hollow Knight Silksong. The game begins with Torment, a reoccurring character from the last game, being held captive and taken. She just songs all the suffers immediately. We then go back in the very the whole game looks good. And like 2 minutes into the game, I find these monsters. And it's the first boss. And this fight is pretty much exactly what you expect from the first boss. He just tries to slam into you, and sometimes he summons really weak minions. This is likely. You thought for a second that I would die this motherfucker, you're dead wrong. Not too far after that, I entered the Marrow, which I think is a really cool spot to have right next to Monster, where I pull around. Take it all along. There wasn't really any place in Hollow Knight like this either. There was no lava. This is like brand new territory. In the Marrow, I found a few caravans. These are the guys that tell me about the collectible lost treasure. It's the exact same concept as the Grudge. It's so fun as you go around little trees and then bringing it back here for some rewards. And then once I get all the trees, I will get a trophy. I fuck with the food caravan. These guys are chill. I also found Shotgun, a map maker in this game. I'm gonna get a trophy later in the game for getting all of the names. And don't hate me for this. I like Shotgun when I collected it. I also found and collected my first trophy, and there are 51 of these things in the game, so there's a lot of collectibles. I'm going to clean most of them up in the post game. I then went back to the Moss Grotto and unlocked my first silk skill, which gives me another trophy. These are the equivalents of the spells of Hollow Knight. It's not really that good, but it lets me progress. You just whip it in order to get to the next boss, which is the Bell Beast. And this fight is actually really, really good. But this is just the second main boss fight in the game, and I'd already say that it's better than most fights in the original Hollow Knight. The boss take a huge step up in this game, and I'm all for it. This fight is pretty basic, but it's fun as hell. The beast jumps from out of the ground, charges at you, and he throws giant bells at you. The flow lifted on. I also get a trophy for shooting him, and the cherry on specific after doing so, he becomes your fast travel buddy for the rest of the game. I then moved on to the next area, which is Deep Dots, and this is probably the best area in the entire game. It's the best area for the entirety of the game, but I'll have to come back to explore more of it when I'm so now I have to take race the next boss of the game. She comes back a few times throughout the game, kind of like Hornet from the first game, and this is another incredible fight. Hornet gets better and better each time she comes back. So this is the worst version of it, and it's still really good. It really feels like a dance every time you fight this lady. The flow of this fight is arguably the best they've ever made. And you can even knock her into the water, which I think is very fun. Like she's just a bug, right? She comes back. Yeah, not too difficult. I beat it in like 10 minutes. Definitely the hardest challenge so far. I got a trophy for it, and we're off to the center of a good things with cars here.
Yeah, I got no clue where I'm going.
But it also has the lava from this game kind of Hollow Knight doesn't have. characters' wishes. They have side quests the characters will give you, and you have to do various tasks around the map, and then go back home for a little bit. Some of them are kind of boring, though, like they require you to farm some random ass items, so I went and did that with you guys, and I brought all the items back to this dude, and then I got a trophy for completing it. Also, in this area is the full forest place. Giant bug Mexican. And it is yet another banger. At this point in Holiday, most of the early bosses were kind of mid, but so far we had 3 straight bangers. This guy is very talented. The guy was guy to be honest, but very satisfying to dodge his massive sweeping attacks. At the end, there's also very cool.
I'm gonna invite a friend because he gets him grounded for a little bit today. Or not today, but over the weekend.
And then he's just that great fight. This game is absolutely broken so far. Next, I went through great atmosphere in this area is pizza. Oh my god, this stupid bird makes me want to claw my eyes out. After I find a new quest. Quests in this game are items that enter in with 3 sets of features. It's just through interrupted. This one that I found is called the Reaper Breath. It makes Hornet attack at a much slower pace than the Fox is quite generous. I mean,
What the fuck? Yo, what are these what are these hitboxes?
I tested it out by fighting Gorman, the main boss of this area. Another very solid fight. I did hear they ripped this guy, and those saw blades deal double damage, so that sounds awful. But I got lucky and fought him after they made that change. I didn't find it very difficult, but again, he's a great. Really asked for something boss. I took him down in my 3rd attempt, and that's pretty much completed. Then I went through the Hunter's March. I like this area, but the enemies are really hard for like no reason. I guess I have to pick the strongest bugs except I don't know. I was in the trenches going through this place. Literally every enemy felt like a damn mini boss. And it all culminates in the infamous Savage Blood fight. Remember the first time I'm gonna say this fight we finally found a stinker. This dude literally just charges at you, charges into the ground, and summons very frustrating enemies.
Yeah, I have no clue where I'm going. I'm just running the fuck around.
It was also really tense, and I don't know why they gave him so much help. My god, I was tipping around this dude for so long, and I was letting stay. Most people did it for attempt. It's just not a very well-made boss compared to every other one. They said that they like 30 years before. I sure hope I don't have to fight this guy again. I definitely got the shell with another absolutely beautiful area.
Oh. No, why? No, please, bro. No, and there's more of these ghost enemies. What?
Just give me. I didn't do all that shit for a Titanite chunk, bro.
This is definitely the biggest challenge so far. This boss is fast, underrated, and shit.
I gotta look up how to get to the motherfucking Four Kings. Because I'm done. I'm tired of getting Dark Souls 2.
I just wish it maybe had a little less HP. But I'm very impressed with this game so far. There's no complaining. I've done in a video. Oh my god. And then went back to Mascherano, explored
I
the
got it
area
now.
that was previously blocked out called the Weed Nest House. In here, I don't really have much to say about it. It looks like shit, and all these enemies jump out of this.
Wait a sec. I think I put the wrong thing back in the freezer. I did.
With the wind to take you farther, and the aesthetics are also very good. The boss of this area is also incredible. This is the last judge, and it is the best boss in the game so far. The first phase is simple enough, but I still have trouble with some of the counters and his attacks. Specifically, this one where he swings the flail around. It always fucks me up because the startup is so quick, and I'm already in the middle of hitting him, so I got so much fire. But then once I get him down against instant stuff, he lights the flail on fire, and now all of his attacks have some other effect on them, whether it be fire waves or just straight up explosions. It's a lot of fun once you learn how to deal with these attacks. And the third phase isn't really different. I don't even know if it's considered a third phase. He just kind of does a longer version of the fire spin attack at the beginning of the phase, but the rest is the exact same as phase 2 as far as I'm aware. And then I beat him. Again, a very tanky boss. It took a while, but it's really fun, so I'm not really complaining.
We then get a short cutscene recorded entering the next area, and now I am officially in Act 2 of the game. The main area that gets unlocked in Act 2 is the Citadel. This place is massive and it has like 5 sub-areas within it, the main one being Coral Chambers. This is the largest and most expansive area in the entire game. It connects the entire city altogether. And while I still think Deep Dots is cooler, this place is a close number 2 for me. I like to think of Coral Chambers like the city of Jerusalem. It's the area so many other places. It's the one that the devs really put the most effort into, I think, and it's just got the most shit going through this place.
I had to just chug about like a fifth of my drink, otherwise it was gonna overflow.
This is a dual fight I usually despise, but this is one of the best dual fights ever created. On par with the likes of the Francis really on the first game. Basically, these two guys attacking in sync if you got a common to get some damage in. This right after the last judge was like crack. Not that I know what that feels like, I swear I don't. Once you get them down in phase 2, they get faster, and this one shit gets weird. But still, if you can get in phase 1, phase 2 isn't really that much of a difficulty spike, so the shit's still be fine. Phase 3, though, is where things change up a bit, because now they desync with each other. And this kind of fucked with my brain, I'm not gonna lie. But I actually really like this phase, because while it is definitely trickier to deal with, it also lets you be more offensive, because now you can punish each dancer individually rather than them attacking at the same time, and you kind of just have to decide which one you want to hit. Then you can hit both of them. But this is another top tier boss fight. This game is on par with Dark Souls 3 right now in terms of damage. I finally killed the first dancer once. What the game phase? Oh, no, it's the mercy. Now I feel like shit. I just played this whole thing. I'm so sorry, my friends. I just got me for this. The next sub-area that I went through in the Citadel is the Whispering Vault. And this kind of is basically just Coral Chambers, but darker and creepier. And at the end of the Whispering Vault is... I love this guy. Shelbyville is my new favorite fight in this game so far, and yes, that means we've gotten 3 S-tier fights in a row. Good shit, Jerry. And I recognize that gameplay-wise, Predator honestly isn't the greatest boss in this game.
Holy fuck, dude! Good lord, I'm so sorry for ever existing. Mondo sucks.
But they never feel obnoxious to deal with, which is high praise coming from me, because I fucking hate enemies in these games that spam projectiles. He also does this weekly thing. My only real complaint about this
this fight, if you play it, is that sometimes there's a lot of explosions and sparkles on the screen, and I can't really tell if the punch sucks. But you know what? That's all part of the Trovio experience. And when I finally beat him, he does this very goofy animation. How can you not love this guy? It's great. Also, one really important thing about Trovio is after beating him, you get a melody. And this is the first one I found. You need to collect 3 melodies around the Citadel to be able to
Okay.
fight the final boss.
Let's go again.
So these are very important items, and I just got the first one. We got 2 more to go. I then went back to Greymore, talked to Mule, who is the hunter in this game. If you remember that guy from the first one. That's right, the Hunter's Journal from the first game is back, and it's still my least favorite part about this fight. If you don't know, you have to kill almost every enemy in the game for them to get added to your journal, and you have to kill them multiple times over before you complete their journal entry. And I made it about halfway through the journal at this point in the game, so after slapping me in the face, I realized I then went through the next. This is an area that never ends unless you solve it puzzle. Basically, you have to play some music, and these little guys will show you the way out. But the farther you go, the worse it gets, because these great enemies are all over the place, and they steal your stuff, and they're just a pain in the ass to deal with. This is another area that I just did not like it. It might actually be the worst of the game. I appreciate the gimmick, it's pretty cool, but it just doesn't work, in my opinion. It's bad. But don't worry, it's okay, because at the end is another top-tier boss. This time, it's Phantom. This boss immediately reminded me of both Hornet from the first game and Lace from this game. And that kind of makes sense, actually, because in War, Phantom is Lace's sibling, I believe.
Oh, that's gotta be annoying. How that guy died just now.
It's taking a solid 20 minutes to beat. Once you get her low, she just goes absolutely ballistic. I'm noticing a pattern with this game where most of the boss and move sets feel just way more intuitive than they were in the original Hollow Knight. Like in that game, a lot of bosses felt like they were kind of just doing random shit and running into it. And the best boss in that game being like Nightmare King's Room and Pure Vessel feel like they came from this game. Because in Silksong, almost every boss so far feels like they're on that level, which is great. And Phantom is no exception. Great boss that had a terrible area. And it ends in the most anime way possible with only pounding the and just sitting there.
Oh wait, can I get the that one chest now?
Sitting. This builds the path to one of the most rage-inducing areas of the game entirely. The issue with this place is that everything poisons you, which prevents you from healing once you cleanse yourself. This is extremely frustrating.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
But traversing this place is kind of tough. If you could drive, you could do this because it's parked all over the place and you don't really do anything about it, and you can get through the area like that.
What? No, I didn't mean to do this. No. Die. 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 You, please.
A gauntlet of enemies each time before the actual boss appears, and even if they're just like one rage crazy, they just take a couple of shots at you and the main boss after you beat the gauntlet is Roll the Crate, and yeah, this guy's pretty annoying. He constantly tries to eat you, and when that fails, he spits projectiles at you. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this fight, especially considering the run back is like a couple minutes long, but I've dealt with the kind of chaos in the past, so I'm used to this bullshit by now. Unfortunately, there's Roll the Crate. I wanted to break history with Great Boss fights, because while he's not bad, he's just kind of weird. I eventually took him down, and Biowater is now thank God. Then I went through the Memoriam, and this is a really cool place, because it is just a mashup of like all the other locations. Really cool idea. There's a boss in this place, if you even call it that, and it's just a giant flea. He does a couple of charge attacks, and that's pretty much it. After smacking him a few times, he chills out, and I got a trophy for freeing half of the lost thieves. And after the Memoriam is the Putrefied Ducts. This is basically Biowater if you took out all the parts that make Biowater fun. It's just a dark hellscape filled with annoying ass enemies. Sorry. But unlocking the fast travel stage, you can get to a trophy for finding every single one.
Yes, please tell me you're the Ember that lets me upgrade weapons plus 10.
I then went to the Courier's Rasher.
Yes! Yes!
Here on the map. There's a time limit, and if you get hit, a chunk of that time disappears. This quest is so ass, it reminded me of that stupid flower one from the first game. I found that if you get hit like once, it's alright with this one, but anything more than that, you should just be
the start. This doesn't get me a trophy, but it is required for the 100% down the line. And it was a big enough quest that I thought it was worth mentioning. I then went through the sands of Carrick, and I did not like this area. It's very parkour focused. I found the gimmick to be annoying, though. I don't like how any of these things just makes these parkour courses look weird from the I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I think it is. But this fight was it's ass. There's nothing to it. It feels incredibly boring and out of place, and it's just ridiculously easy. I
don't even know where I'm supposed to go for Four Kings. I looked at a video and I already forgot.
But the last steps when I was there. But that doesn't really matter because these fights are kind of mid anyway. The dude just charges at with spikes that ricochet off the walls. Not really much to this fight, but it's fine. It's nothing bad. I then went through the High Halls, which is another part of the Citadel, and I fought the Wire Gauntlet, which is actually pretty tough, even though it isn't really a boss fight. There are a lot of enemies to this thing. But I had Chakra, the map maker, help with me. I don't really know how that happens, but she was in the fight with me, so it wasn't really that bad. After beating the fight, I got the second melody to get to the final boss. And then I went through the pod.
And I'm supposed to go in here. And then I go around over this way, I believe. I don't know where to go after here. Because this brings me to a staircase. That brings me up here. But I've already been up here. Oh, okay, didn't know the dark roots. Go up here. Fuck you.
This fight, though, isn't very good. It's serviceable at best, but nothing riveting at all. The boss has...
I wish I could buy humanity from somewhere, or farm it in a good, timely manner.
The issue with this fight is that he has... This boss is not good or fun enough to warrant such a long fight. Not a fan, would not be sad whatsoever if I never fought this. I never even disconnected. And visually, this area is really cool. Why don't you guys
Good lord, didn't know that these guys are fucking ass long ass combos. My fucking bad.
It's funny that I mentioned
Die.
chaos talking about the body of the vampire. They unironically added the chaos as a boss in this place. Like he's just bad. He just shoots fireballs at you, and you have to destroy these weak points and then hit the core a bunch. Literally a nothing fight. I don't know why they added this. Scott, what happened? You're on such a hot streak of good bosses, and now we're getting some hot ass in these locations. And it's okay, because that all is about to end, because we're going through the slab, and this is a great area. It's a really cool looking prison, but way different compared to the rest of the game. I really like it. And in
Die, please.
boss, which is the first thing. This, ladies and gentlemen,
Can I
is the
slide?
best boss in the game. No. Actually, scratch that. It's the best boss in this and Hollow Knight. Yeah, I said it. Everything about this boss is cute. I swear it feels like the Mantis Lord's grid and Pure Vessel had like a weird fucked up baby. I don't know. This is probably the fastest paced fight in the game, requiring you to just go all out aggressive.
This looks like a fake wall.
There are no breaks in this.
I was
fight.
wrong.
This is further encouraged when the sinner midway through the fight will start periodically trying to heal itself, and you have to go and smack it to interrupt the animation. Another cool thing with this fight is if you die, there's absolutely no run back because it's in a dream. I cannot think of a bad thing to say about this boss. I usually can find something, but I literally have no clue what to say about this guy. It's negative. Actually, here we go. It doesn't have enough health. I want its health to be tripled so I can fight it for longer because it's that fun. There we go. That's a negative thing. I can't wait for Gotham to come out in this game so I can just keep refighting the boss. I wish more bosses played like this, but this is really the only one I can think of. But wow, this is genuinely one of the best bosses of all time, in my opinion. It really is that good, and you have to fight it. Not that hard, though. I found it to be kind of easy. I beat it on my second try. I then fought the second Sentinel in the Citadel, and I could have fought this boss like way earlier, I think, but I didn't really need a thing. You can do a whole ass side quest to even be able to fight it, but it is another really good fight, and I'm glad I did it. It's not on the first Sinner's level, but to be fair, nothing is. It's simple, does a lot of parrying, a lot of these double damage gas slash looking things. I don't think I'm double damage.
Well, let's go this way instead. Is there something cool this way?
It almost feels like I'm fighting like a
No.
robot version of myself. In like other videos, especially those Souls videos, but those types of fights where you fight another boss with a similar moveset to you, they're always some of my favorites. It wasn't very hard though. I was probably a little overwhelmed at this point. That's okay, we're moving right on. I then went to fight the final boss because I got all three of the melodies, but I was blocked by Lace, and we get our long-awaited rune after attacks. This is similar to the first
Where the
part.
fuck am I supposed to go?
Get access to like way more attacks. The first part is easy enough, but then phase 2 comes and she just starts spamming these charge attacks all over the place.
Oh, where am I supposed to go?
With me fighting this thing was I was trying to beat this. Just making stupid mistake after stupid mistake and stubbornly trying the boss over and over again instead of going to sleep and doing it when I wake up. And this shit took me like at least 30 minutes. It's really not that long.
I'm gonna start up a new live